I'm Dr. Jeffrey Fannin, and this is another episode of Soul Science, talking about the soul and the science and how to utilize quantum laws in your everyday life. So, what are we talking today about, Pamela?
Today, we're going to talk about supporting your physical vessel or your body. And the reason for that is because if you're not feeling all that great, you're not open to receive anything. You've tanked. And I'm Pamela Ann. I'm with Easy Messages. I'm a master teacher in applied quantum physics, actually. And Jeffrey and we rock as a team. We love what we're doing and
Yeah,
what we're sharing with
I
you.
know it's so much fun, and we just seem to come up with the right topics and things. So none of this is really scripted. I think you sent a list over to me of different things we're going to talk about, and I didn't even write them down yet because we just keep coming up when we sit down to record and do these things. So, but it's so much fun, and there's so much synergy that just goes on that we just kind of get a general notion in the first couple of minutes of what we're going to talk about. And then boom, we push the button and start recording like we're doing
Right,
right now. So
right.
yeah, let's talk about that vessel because this is an important message and I've learned this myself. So how are we going to prepare the vessel?
Well, I learned from Dr. Jerry Tennant because I was a dead battery. I felt horrible. I was bedridden for more than a decade. And it was like, Lord, teach me what I'm supposed to do to get better. And I learned about Jerry Tennant. And so I literally went to Texas to train personally with him. He worked with the astronauts that are in the space station for long periods of time so that they can maintain their electrical currents since they are disconnected from the earth. And this information is so powerful. And he literally taught me how to regrow my body so that I could be able to have every cell in my body work properly and be able to conduct electricity, but not just conduct electricity, but store electricity. So I'd have reserves on hand. And and I sent you over this information of what we're going to talk about today. Just give you a listing of it because we don't ever
I
script
know.
anything. It's always
Yeah.
authentic. We are trusting that we're supposed to be receiving this information and we just go with it. So as we're getting some drinks and getting things set up, and you're in your place, I'm in my place, I was downloaded this information, talk about the vessel, talk about the body, so that these people can be able to have a more wonderful life experience here because they just darn well feel better. And so I quickly pulled everything together so that I could share it with you. And it's very specific. It's going to go pretty quick because it's kind of like shooting up a cannon, and that's why it's recorded. So when you get this information, you can stop this at any time and check out what I'm talking about. I'm going to show it right to you so you can see it close and know specifically and not be feeling like, what was that they were saying? Where is this? Or what does it look like? I have it
Yeah.
for you. It's
Right.
all organized for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
would you like to share how this has affected your life? Oh, and I'm going to talk with you about the structure of every cell and why this is so important, why every component is so important. And by the way, these are some special drinks and they are delicious. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's great. If I could just take a minute and talk about the cells of the body and so forth before we get into how you actually do it. You're sitting there doing it right now, and I just finished my egg drink. So we'll talk about the ingredients of all of that. But basically, when we look at, many of you have had a chemistry class, and in that chemistry class, you got acquainted with something called a periodic table. Now, even if you don't remember what you learned in chemistry, the periodic table is very, very important because when we look at the cells of our body, the cells of our body are mostly made up of carbon and silicone. You know, and so that's what allows them to vibrate when you look at
Oh,
the.
excuse me, I'm letting my dog out so he won't be barking too
All
loud.
right, you let the dog out while I'm talking about carbon and silicone. And what allows this to vibrate within our cells and so forth. And so I learned a lot from my good friend Bruce Lipton, and he wrote the book, The Biology of Belief. And so he and I have had many great conversations about the cells of your body and having the right environment, putting them in the right environment. So really, that's one of the basis of this podcast today, is being able to get yourselves in the right environment. And first of all, understanding that most of your cells as human beings, we live in this meat suit, and in this meat suit is mostly carbon and silicone. When you look at a computer chip, what is it? It's made out of carbon and silicone so that it can translate that energy. And we could get into lots of this stuff and, about the taking care of our bodies and frequencies and stuff like the astronauts and the cosmonauts. But we'll save that story and that information for another podcast. But just knowing that you've been able to pull some of this stuff together by training with the guy that trained with the astronauts, and it's so valuable. I find that I find, since I've been doing a lot more of this spiritual work, that water and electrolytes are very, very important to my body. And so
Mhm.
I will drink a lot, probably twice as much water as I used to throughout the day. First thing when I get up in the morning, when I go to bed and stuff like that, and be able to have the electrolytes and put those in a couple of bottles of water. So I'll drink, two of those regular bottles of water. Anyway, that having good hydration is very, very important, so that we can transmit this. I learned about some of this in the book called The Body Electric by Beck. And that was I read that book many years ago, in understanding how the electricity flows within our body and from cell to cell.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
what else do we need to know about being able to get our vessel ready for doing what it needs to do throughout the day? Because the day gets kind of hectic sometimes, you know.
Right. Well, these drinks that I create, actually, Dr. Tennant taught me about the ratios of raw fats, and it's the raw fats that restructure your body so that you can hold this electrical current. And then the divine downloaded in me these drinks, because I don't know about you, but the thought of just taking just raw fats, just like guzzling it down, it doesn't feel all that yippee skippy to me. And if your body's not looking forward to it, trust me, you're not you're you know okay, you're gonna get this. If you have to drink or eat something that you really don't look forward to, you kind of feel like it's like hitting, like having a lead ball in your belly, or it's
Yeah,
just like it
yeah,
doesn't feel good, and your body is not set up to absorb it and enjoy it. It's set up to like, ugh, I'm not excited about this. You're dreading it and you won't stick to it. Okay. So the divine downloaded in me how to make these wonderful, delicious drinks, and really everybody loves them.
I know.
Now,
The first time you told me the ingredients of this, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm going to drink this. You drink this, right? And and it sounded more like something that Rocky Balboa would do, you know. But I thought,
like,
okay,
what the
I'm
heck?
going to be open. I'm going to be open here, and listen to what she's telling me. And by golly, it's good and it does work. So that's what's in these drinks.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, I totally love my body. I totally love her and honor her. And I'm so grateful for her because she is the vessel that my spirit dwells in. And I will do anything for her. And some of the drinks I have are really like, are you kidding me? But she does respond beautifully with it. And I'm always well. I'm always well. So it doesn't matter what I'm exposed to, I am always well. And that's something really important that I have benefited from, especially during the time period that we've been going through this last year plus.
Right.
So, okay. So I'm going to tell you right now about the structure of the body first. And I'm kind of running through this because we like to keep these right at around 20-minute sessions. But the structure of the body is really important because every cell of your body is like a little house. You have to have strong walls, you have to have a strong roof. And what creates that is these raw fats. And they are short to medium chain fatty acids that are packed together really tight for this structure so that the intracellular fluids and the extracellular fluids can flow through and not have them collapse on you. Now, if you're building a house with really strong walls and a roof, it still is not going to function because it must have doors and windows. For doors and windows, that means that it has to be able to have long chain fatty acids, and they're very delicate. You literally can regrow your entire nervous system in 18 months. You're
Right.
constantly regrowing your body. But if you're not providing your body with the nutrients that it needs, then it's trying to pick from the garbage piles of, things that have died out, or cells that are no longer functioning anymore, and it's trying to get from the scrap pile. Let's not do that. Let's put in really excellent things. So your short and medium chain fatty acids, I'm going to give you some ideas of that. That would be something like your coconut oils, your MTC oils, your avocado oils, your olive oils, those kind of things are your short and medium chain fatty acids. It can
Right.
also be butter and ghee and creams. That all of that is fine. It's all fine. But the key thing is you never heat those oils. If you heat those oils, you have changed it, and it's one carbon away
Right.
from being
Yeah.
plastic. Plastic cannot conduct electricity.
Ooh,
So
that doesn't
hello.
sound good, Let me just chew up one of these water bottles and do that
See
rather
how
than,
that works.
yeah, that
Roll
may
that up and smoke
be
it.
worse for you than heating up the oils. But yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
So but that's good information for people to know.
Right. So then your long chain fatty acids are created from your fish oils. And these must be fresh. And we're not talking popping a capsule. We're talking taking a good tablespoon of it. And it's like fish oil? Yeah. But I only use one type of fish oil, and it is Carlson Fish Oil. I'm going to start
Right.
showing you some of these ingredients.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
This
I use
has,
that every day as well. And you can't even taste it in
no,
there at all.
well, it has a slight lemony taste, and that's the only type I get. And why? Because I'll also put it on my salads. I'll put it on my sandwiches. Things like I do lettuce wraps. I don't do bread. I'll put it in a lot of things, and it just has a slight hint of lemon. Actually, it tastes great, and I'll add olive oils and things like that to my soups, and I'll put this in my soups and stuff, because if you have this sufficient amounts, is awesome. So, all right, let's talk
Yeah.
about the ratio.
Just 1 second before you get into the ratio here, that
Yeah,
I have heard and read some things that, if you take the fish oils, you go down, to build up your omega-3s, because omega-3s and omega-6s, and we have too many omega-6s. So
right.
the omega-3s, when we look at this, if people who take capsules and they kind of burp up and have that fishy taste, that's rancid fish oil. It's
That's
not
rancid.
helping you.
Right.
Whereas if it's fresh fish oil, it's going to have that kind of lemony taste. So I know what you're
Exactly.
talking about.
I mean, it's a good thing I'm having. It's a good thing I have a purple shirt and I'm having chocolate blueberry, because I just dropped some on my purple shirt.
Yeah, I
I'm
started
good to
with
go.
making mine the other day. I went to Costco and I got these organic berries that are frozen, and it had cantaloupe and peaches and strawberries. And I'm used to, I like the blueberries, blackberries, that kind of thing, raspberries, and they didn't have it. So I thought, well, okay, I'll
Not the same
try
though.
a new flavor, and it's wonderful.
Oh,
So-
really?
oh yeah, it's really, really good. So now I found a new favorite, and putting it in there so that I get that consistency and the flavor, and
Good.
have all of those natural organic fruits that are in there. So
Hmm.
uh,
Right. And thanks
that's
for
my story.
pointing out the organic, because, hey, have as much organic as possible and not stuffed with a bunch of other ingredients like pesticides and stuff, because you're just going to
Right.
have to find a way to cleanse that sucker out. All right. So, all right, let me
Talking
stay
about the
focused on
ratio.
this.
Yeah.
The ratio is 4 to 1. So you have 4 units, whatever you put in. I usually put in a tablespoon of each type. Okay, so I have at least 4 units of the short to medium chain fatty acids, and one of the long chain fatty acids, which is your fish oil. Okay, so that's what I put in. I'll put in um so I'll put in like a couple tablespoons of cream, or half and half, without any fillers in it. I'll put in a tablespoon or two of the coconut oil, and I'll use this type of coconut oil that is not just the MTC oil if I have a blender that I can blend it in, or I'll put in the MTC oil. I like this because it's less refined. And because the more you refine things, the more you start losing some of the key components.
Yeah,
So I'll
so
put
you're
in,
talking about coconut oil, not coconut milk. Very
no,
big difference, right?
yeah, very big difference. It has to be oils, oils,
Right.
oils. So, and then what I'll do is I'll put in 4 raw eggs. Four raw eggs. And that's what people go, are you freaking
I
kidding
know,
me? Rocky Balboa, right?
right, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll put in the 4 raw eggs, and that's really important that they are raw. Once you cook those eggs, you have ruined the proteins, you've ruined the fats, and you've ruined the sulfurs that go with it. But I tell you, promise you, your body's going to love it. It's not going to be like, ooh, this is creepy. Keep remembering, ice cream is also made out of eggs. So you're going to be okay. It's going to be a real treat. So I put in the eggs, the 4 raw eggs, and I will put in some splashes of vanilla, and I use pure vanilla, and hopefully you can get the kind that would be like organic. And I put in stevia for sweetening it. This has 0 sugar in it, which is really awesome. It's awesome. And
Made from the leaf of a plant.
I always only use Cal stevia, Kal stevia,
Uh-huh.
without any fillers, because some of the Cal does have some a different kind of filler in it, but I keep it really pure as possible. And then what I'll do is I will put in, so you've got the flavors. I'll put in some natural cacao. All
Yeah,
right.
I have some of that.
Yeah, I put in that. Now I'll put in about a tablespoon of that in it. And this is really important because it has so many great antioxidants in it.
Yeah,
What you laughing at,
I'm
baby?
laughing because the first time I mixed it up and I put like 2 tablespoons
Oh,
into that. Oh my gosh, was it chocolatey?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like
Okay,
chocolate, but not that much. So,
that was
so
over
I,
the
I
top.
learned what the proper ratio should be. So, a little
Yeah,
experimentation there.
and listen, this is not like precise and play with it. You know, some people like it more chocolatey, some people like it less.
Right.
Some people don't even want any in it. So if you don't put any chocolate in it, because of the fish oil, it has this beautiful chiffon taste. It's very delicate and slightly tasting like lemon. So
Yeah.
just having just that first part without even the chocolate in it is perfectly fine. However, the cacao has some great antioxidants in it, so that's why I utilize cacao. Sometimes I'll put a few drops of peppermint oil. I only use doTERRA. If you don't have doTERRA, I can count on this I can use in the hospitals. It's
Yeah.
therapeutic and it's really, really excellent. So then that means you've got that chocolate mint flavor. And then if you'd like to, instead of the peppermint, you can add cinnamon. Cinnamon's really, really good for your body.
Yeah.
And you can look at the components to that. What are the really positive effects of cinnamon? All right, moving on. You can also put in just like uh, some strawberries or some blueberries, and I really do prefer the low glycemic berries, which are strawberries and blueberries. I
Yeah.
think they're just excellent for your body, but they also are filled with polyphenols. So I mean, this is all like really great stuff. You can, if you'd like to, it's like, for instance, if you don't have cream or something like that, leave the whole thing out, leave out the chocolate, and you can put in some Bragg's vinegar. And I was like, vinegar?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Vinegar and raw eggs. That sounds real good.
so yummy.
But it is.
Then shake it up, get the Bragg's vinegar that has the mother in it because it has all these digestive enzymes in it. It's really
Yeah.
good. And it helps to be like a roto-rooter going through your veins and stuff to help clean out plaque and other buildup in your body. And it's like great stuff to have. So I'll put that in along with just strawberries or just blueberries. And you got to put sufficient amount to have that little bit of tartness in it. And it's like so refreshing in the summertime. Sometimes I don't even put the fruit in. I just have the vinegar in with sufficient amounts of ice and strawberries or blueberries. And it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but what you end up doing is putting in some ice in every single one of these.
Yeah.
And what it does is it makes it so it's like a milkshake, or it can be like something that's just really delicate and fun to eat and drink, and it's just delicious. So sometimes I just float some blueberries on top and have it just lemon flavor. You can play with it and morph it. Lacey, go outside. Hi.
That's okay. Many people have dogs. They understand,
Yeah, they're
so
usually quiet,
it's not a big deal.
yeah, but evidently, I guess something's happening outside that's very interesting to them. And so, all right, but it does with every drink of those specific ingredients, put in some ice, like five big cubes of ice for the chocolate drink, and the berry drink mixed with the chocolate drink. And then if you're just going to leave out the chocolate and have the other, the same, you still have to load it up with something cold, and it'll chill it, and it will be fabulous. So go ahead and let you experiment with it, because you're going to find it's going to really help your body, and literally has regrown my body. I have lab tests before and after how it has literally saved my life. I mean, the doctors have been blown back and said, what did you do? Your SED rate was 63. You were going to die any second. And now it's 2 only 10 days later.
Yeah.
So I know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those vibrations and creating the right environment for ourselves to be in. And I don't think that we take that to heart often enough. So I'm really glad that we're talking about this today, so that people can get a sense of what that is. Because what I hear from a lot of people is, oh, well, I eat healthy and I try to eat organic, and
They just don't know.
That's not enough. So one of the blood tests that I will do with a lot of people, where they poke their finger, put a couple of drops of blood, we send it into the lab, and then we're able to take a look, and so we can see that when they're lacking in these omega-3s or the fish oils and stuff, how the inflammation in their body and starts this cycle where the disease and things happen, or we're not getting enough of the antioxidants to kill the free radicals in our body and stuff.
Right.
Because our Western diet is so different. And so we're losing some of those things. So I think it's vitally important for people to understand exactly what you're talking about, because we're not talking about just having a drink that tastes good. We're talking about a drink that's going to put your cells in the right environment. And I can tell a difference when I'm not taking it, or if I get up early and, I'll sit there, with my coffee or something and be working on the computer. As soon as I start kind of getting to this baseline, is what I'll call it, I can tell I'm not on all cylinders. So once I take my drink and drink the raw eggs and stuff like that, I think I have a new addiction now. But we'll talk about addictions at another
But it's a good addiction, okay?
Yeah.
Hey,
So anyway, once I take that, then my body changes. The dynamic, the chemistry of what's going on, and the electrochemical functions is very different, because now I'm starting to feel in the zone. My brain and my body are working in harmony with one another, because they're getting the nutrients that they want. And I can tell you, it really does feel different. I feel different when I took that, and this morning was another example of that. So I got up, and sitting here working on a podcast that we're doing. And I just didn't quite feel right, and I realized I'd been working for about an hour. And so then I mixed up my drink, with all of the ingredients that you're talking about. And within a matter of, I would say 5, maybe 10 minutes after drinking about half, that I'd mixed up in the blender, kind of like the one that you have. And then I really started to feel good. I started to think better. I started to react better. I started pulling. It just felt like, now I was hitting on all cylinders, and I found I was working more efficiently and having more thoughts of things that I could put in the graphics and so forth with podcasts that I was working on. So If you're not listening to what Pamela says, stop and rewind and go back and listen to everything that she's telling you, because it's
Okay.
absolutely true, not only from a physical, a mental, but a vibrational and a frequency standpoint in the cells of your body. I can't implore you enough to take this in and make this part of your life.
I'd like to just add one thing that I hadn't put in there, and that is Redmond's Real Salt. That we
Yeah,
put in a pinch of Redmond's Real Salt. That is also imperative for your micro minerals.
right,
If you don't have sufficient minerals, you will not be healthy. You
right.
cannot be healthy. And if you have sufficient minerals, pretty impossible to grow things like cancers and tumors and all those other things. So, I mean, really, really important information. And that is important because Redmond's Real Salt contains rubidium. And if you have sufficient amounts of rubidium in your body, it can't turn into cancer. It's really impossible. So just a heads up on that one. Hey, Jeff, you know what? We're going to have to cut this short. It's time to
No,
stop this. We can continue more with another podcast with other drinks that are equally as wonderful and helpful for your body, so you feel like jiggy good. If you found this uplifting for you and encouraging, share it with others. It's probably exactly what they've been searching for. And also consider subscribing below so that you won't get missing out on anything else that we're creating, especially for your happiness and well-being. Take care.
great.
Bye,
Thanks.
Jeff.
See you next time.
Okay, bye.